Take two.
This is Stephen, the Disney Drago Robinson. You're watching the one and only Sport Icon. Bow!
So is Joe Joyce the boogeyman of the heavyweight division? Now, as per a previous video where I'm speaking about Joe Joyce, listen, a lot of people know that I'm a big fan of Joe Joyce. Some say a little bit over the top with it, but it is what it is. I like what I like. But with Joe Joyce, he is somewhat of a boogeyman, for sure. Now, in the previous video, I said that Deontay Wilder, he never really mentions, or to my knowledge, he's never once mentioned the name of Joe Joyce in the way of, I want to fight Joe Joyce, even though Joe Joyce has got a golden ticket into a world title shot. But he never mentions his name. He'd rather mention people's name like Anthony Joshua, which isn't going to get you a world title shot currently. Or Andy Ruiz Jr., yeah, that would, eventually. But ultimately, going by the comment section, and yes, some Wilder fans are getting a little bit brave again after their boy got bounced around the canvas by Tyson Fury, humiliated. But of course, he's come back and defeated the legendary Hall of Famer in Robert Helenius. Hey, but with Joe Joyce, in that comment section, people were saying, well, it ain't just Wilder who don't call him out. Nobody calls him out. But as I said, listen, I'm a big fan of Joe Joyce. Now, you are right to a certain extent, for sure, but fighters have called him out. Martin Bakole has called him out. Arsenbek Makhmudov has called him out. Luis Ortiz, a couple of years ago, called him out. So fighters do call him out. They do. And they never seem to materialise other than, say, a Joseph Parker and a Dan Dubois, which, again, for me, Joe Joyce, the way that he's navigated his career in such a short number of fights, and again, he's had some injury within that time as well. You know, British champion, European champion, WBC silver, WBO interim and all that kind of good stuff with some very good names. Dan Dubois, Joseph Parker, Carlos Takam, Brian Jennings. Again, we're talking for the number of fights that he's had. Fantastic. His resume is already better than Wilder's. For sure. Okay? That's not even a debate, is it? But with Joe Joyce, he doesn't really call out too many people himself. He doesn't. Okay? But he has mentioned Anthony Joshua. He wants to fight Anthony Joshua. Now, Anthony Joshua has responded and said if he fights Joe Joyce, he'll knock him out in round number 1, like he did in the amateurs, or words to that effect. But other people, do they mention Joe Joyce? Tyson Fury? Well, Tyson Fury said Joe Joyce needs to get his Instagram followers up before he fights him. Have you ever heard such a thing? I mean, for me, I always thought it was about the ratings and what the fans want. That's what I always thought it was. I didn't think it had anything to do with social media, but hey-ho, what do I know? He's a champion. But that is what it is. Anthony Joshua, as I said, yes, he said he wants to, if he fought Joe Joyce, he'd knock him out in round number 1 like he did in the amateurs. Would he? I don't know, to be honest. I have no idea, but I'd love to see the fight. But yeah, not many people do mention Joe Joyce. So is he the boogeyman? Has he now replaced Filip Hrgović as the boogeyman? Maybe, but at the same time, Joe Joyce, he is high risk, no doubt. Of course he's high risk. Is he high reward? Maybe, because of the position that he's in. WBO interim world heavyweight champion, WBO mandatory challenger. So that in itself is a reward, is it not? I'm sure money is going to be quite decent. It won't be poor money. It won't be Joshua money or Fury money, of course not. But I would like to see Joe Joyce take on a Makhmudov, a Bakole. I'd like to see him fight Wilder. I'd like to see him fight Dillian Whyte. I'd like to see him fight all these kind of guys. I would. I think Joe Joyce would too. I'm sure Frank Warren would too as well. But at the same time, Frank Warren, he's his promoter. S-Jam is his manager. So of course, they do have to be side with a side of caution, just in case. So if anybody who's not a Queensberry fighter, for example, going to fight Joe Joyce, now Joe Joyce is in this position, it may be a case of where you can fight him, but you've got to have a rematch clause. Or you've got to have a multi-fight deal with us or whatever, okay? Listen, I'm not saying that's what they do, but if they're smart, which I'm sure they are, that's what they insist on. So it is going to be hard to match Joe Joyce. Will there be a bunch of fighters out there who may be not willing to fight him? Yeah, probably. There probably is. And I do think Wilder is one of them. I don't think that he'll ever do it. But if he does, fantastic. I'd love to see that fight. So yeah, there's quite a few fights I'd like to see for Joe Joyce. He's not going to get his world title shot anytime soon, unless the belts become fragmented after the first fight with Fury and Usyk. Obviously, for undisputed, that'd be great. Immediately afterwards, mandatories are going to get backed up straight away. So in the rematch, it probably won't be for undisputed. 2 or 3 of the belts may have to be thrown up in the air, in which case Joe Joyce may get the opportunity. Maybe, but anyway, I have to wait and see. Listen, I like Joe Joyce. I think that in his relatively short career, since turning pro after the Rio 2016 Olympics, he's done fantastic. He has. I do worry about that chin. I do. You know what would be a great fight for me? Joe Joyce versus Ian Robinson. Them two would punch lumps out of each other. And neither one of them is going to go down. That'd be a fun fight, wouldn't it? Anyway, that's my thoughts. You drop me yours. Click thumbs up, subscribe. And I'll catch you all on the next video.